I'm recording. I'm live. I'm live. And I don't do this part while recording, but I want to do this part now because whether you're watching this live or you're watching it recorded, this is extremely valuable information. You know, one thing I've learned, and this happens in two spectrums. So this is really crazy. So I know this has to be true. You know, a lot of people who went to London, we said, you are at an all-time high, which means you are going to experience all-time high challenges. Right? When you're at an all-time high and you are ready to go next level, you should expect all-time high challenges. But the cool part about that is it's that last little hurdle, that last little obstacle that you have to go through. It's that last little push through resistance that you have to go through to create your new level of support, to get to that next level in your life. And it's the same thing right before you go through something as well, right? And this is something that I think is one of the craziest things that, you know, God, universe, whatever does to individuals before and after the realization of breakthrough. So after they have the realization they're about to go through a breakthrough, and right before the breakthrough is about to happen, things will begin to occur in your life that seem, you know, how am I going to get through this, right? You know, something's going to happen in the family, something's going to happen in a relationship, something's going to happen financially, you know, something's going to pop up. And I think being consciously aware of that is extremely important. And the best way to combat that is to realize that it too shall pass. It's to realize that it is only a temporary moment. It's to realize that, honestly, it's something that is of complete irrelevance, because 5 years from now, you're going to realize that was 5 seconds of nothingness. And so what I want to do is start this call out with gratitude, just dropping some I am so happy and grateful now for your business partner, for your spouse, for your significant other, for your family, for your skill set, for your health, for your finances, for your business, whatever it may be. Maybe you're happy and grateful now for the obstacle you're going through, right? Maybe you're happy and grateful now for the financial situation that you're going through, because it's going to make everything worth it. Maybe you're happy and grateful that people have left your business because it's now giving you realizations on how to level up. Being happy and grateful shifts the way that we react, because it's never about the situation. It's never about what's currently going on. It's always about how we react. We hear it with events, how David Amiti says it all the time. It's not about what happens at the event. It's about what you do before and after the event that matters. And so being happy and grateful puts you in the situation, the mindset, and in the gives you the ability to move forward past those barriers that you're going through. So guys, I'm super excited for this conversation that we're going to have tonight. I hope that you're ready to receive. I know there's another call going on right now with the Spanish. Our Duolingo people are going to switch over as soon as their call's over. I know that the Illinois squad is watching the call together, so there will be more people coming on. So we're just going to get this thing moving at 7:10 already. If you're ready to receive, drop it in the chat. I am ready to receive. I am ready to give. I am ready to go all in. I am ready for chairman. Whatever you are ready for, type it in the chat. That's exactly what you're going to get. So, guys, as I was mentioning, some of you are hopping on, and I was talking about the topics we're going to be going over tonight are topics that I've actually received an insane amount of mentorship on, right? And I mean mentorship from Jason. I mean mentorship from people outside. Maybe I really like that one. People outside of the company, people, you know, in different organizations, from corporate America. I mean, this is topics that literally, it's probably, I said launching is really important, right? I said that was the most important thing you need to do, but this is up here, right? Because if you don't do this first part properly, it's going to become extremely difficult to do anything else properly, right? So tonight we're going to talk about a lot of amazing things. Yesterday, 2 nights ago, we talked about why, having our awareness of timing. If you haven't seen that video, please watch the recording. I'll drop those in the chat in a second. Yesterday, we talked about properly launching the newest member, and then we dived deep into why Trade House, accessing the trading schedule, you know, having retention through trading, and why institutional trading, why learning this skill set really sets us apart, not only from the trading community, but from the rest of the world. Tonight, we're going to really dive deep into the power of education, understanding PS3, making a list, and how to actually properly invite off that list. And then at the end of the hour, we're going to transition into institutional basics, really taking, I would say, the first 4 to 6 hours of the Trade House course and compounding into 1 hour, giving you the basics and giving you what you need to make sure you understand. And honestly, make sure you know how to teach it. Make sure you know how to duplicate that information, not being the master, not being the seven-figure trader yet, but giving people information that help create that level of understanding. And so really, I'm super excited for Mike to start this call out for us, because we really look at Mike as, you know, the GOAT. We call him El Mago, right, of trading. But what a lot of people don't see all the time, and that's why I'm really glad we're doing it like this is, and yeah, guys, get your cameras on. I want to see your beautiful faces. Let me see your beautiful faces. If I can have a crazy beard, crazy hair, and Gucci bags underneath my eyes, I can see all y'all as well. So unless you don't have a shirt on, go put a shirt on first, and then hop on the call. Right? So back to talking about Mike. Right? We look at him as a trading guru, but what a lot of people don't see is this guy is really a boss in the industry. Like, he is really a boss in the industry. He understands how networking works. And I think it's really cool to see from my perspective, right? Because not everyone gets to see, you know, how much Mike is studying on Forex and in impact marketing. I really get to see it. You know, when he's not on the charts, he's in the personal development. You know, when he's not doing Go Live, he's at GoPro or ANMP or going to the conventions. And so this is someone that is really has the skill sets to teach someone how to go chairman. Because you got to remember, this dude coined chairman charts, right? There's a reason why he's an educator and why he's also a chairman. There's a reason why I said, Mike, I want to relinquish 50% of my account to have you be my partner and do this together. There are reasons for that. And I think he's one of the best people to break down and understand not only leverage, but how to edify that leverage and how to use your resources and allow that leverage to work for you, right? So, Mike, I know you just got to the coffee shop. Let me see if your camera's on. If you're good to go, I'm gonna make you co-host so we can cut each other off when we like to. Co-host. All right, my man.
We are good to go. What is going on, everybody? Is everyone here truly ready? Are you really ready, right, to absorb, to receive information just so you can go and give it, right? If you're truly ready, I need to see in the chat. I need to say, I am ready, right? I am ready to receive in order to give. That's what I want to see, right? That's what I want to feel. And before we go to the topic at hand, right, before we really dive into the sauce, right, before we really get to the veggies here, what I want everyone to really consider, right, is I want you to think about how you feel, right, knowing that you have the best that there is, right? I want you to truly embody, right, embody the essence of seeing the people around you succeed, seeing the people that you directly put on reach a massive milestone, whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, whether it's spiritually, right? I want you to really feel that, right? I need you to feel that, because we actually just saw it happen in our group today, just a couple minutes ago, right? We had our very own JC Sandoval hit 5 figures in his account, right? We just saw it happen. It was something incredible. And I want you guys to think about the reason why this has happened, right? The reason why. And it's not because JC is really good at trading, right? Which is surprising, right? That's not why this has just happened. He put himself in position to learn and to grow every single day, right? And if you understand, when JC hit this milestone and Brennan celebrated him, you know, and you could feel it from the bottom of Brennan's heart, how, man, that feeling's better. I guarantee you, Brennan feels better right now that JC did it than when he did it, right? And it's something amazing. And if you've done something, you know, that just really made you feel special, guys, I need you to think about, imagine if your best friend does the same thing or something even greater, right? And that you were a part of that. That's what I want you guys to feel. And so, you know, JC has been doing this for 11 months, and I'm just so happy and grateful of seeing now 2 friends, right? 2 friends I've been able to grow alongside together. and to be able to do the things that, we're meant to here to do. And a big thing that JC said after, everyone congratulated him, which also, guys, thank you so much for congratulating JC. I know y'all felt the celebration, and remember what you accelerates in your life. So JC, in response to everyone, obviously with gratitude, but he gave you value as well, right? He said, guys, remember the reason, right? The reason you should be here now, well, I'm getting crazy feedback, is because if Brendan had decided not to, step out of his comfort zone, and just let JC know what's really out there, then here's the reality, right? JC would never have the ability to be his own economy. He would not have the ability to just print money for himself whenever he wants. He wouldn't have the ability to help out his family, right? Shift the direction in his life, do the things that he's passionate about, right? And so to me, it's so dope. It's so incredible seeing what's happening now. Like, if you didn't notice, everyone that's plugging in right now into these sessions, they're making money, right? They're having breakthroughs. Right? Literally every single morning, all you see in the chat is, yo, I just made 5%. I just made a couple bands. It's amazing. It's amazing. So in order for people to succeed, in order for people to have these kind of testimonials, right? In order for people to literally go from 0 to 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to infinite, right? In order for that to happen, we need to know how to really convey this message, right? We really need to know how to convey this message in the way that it deserves to be conveyed, right? And that's what's so important to me, is that this has to be done in a way that truly, truly makes you feel that we do it justice, right? And so what I'm going to talk about is PS3, right? PS3. What does that stand for, guys? What does PS3 stand for? Appreciate this chat. What are you guys telling me here?
Hey, Mike, really quick, I want to comment on something. Guys, this is something I learned from Holton Bugs. And as you guys are, dropping the answers in here, right? Pay attention to what's said when we're not discussing the topics. That's where the key notes that you need to take are at, right? The key notes are in the non-topics, right? The gratitude part, the ready to receive, the celebrating each other. Take notes on those things. I was just thinking about with the things I said, like what Mike did. My edification of Mike wasn't because Mike's special. I literally just told you what he did, right? What he did. Take notes on those little things. Mike, I needed to say that really quick. You keep going.
No, bro. It's all good. And I mean, guys, it's the small things, right? Don't get too big for the small things. Don't get too big for the gratitude. Don't get too big in creating ego. Don't get too big for these things. The big, and everyone's here said, right? Peak interest, share through the cup. Peak, share through the cup. Someone said prospect 1%. Right? Peak, share through the cup. So cool. I want to talk about why we do this and how we do it this way, right? Because sometimes I feel like these things seem so technical, and they feel they feel almost like robotic and formulaic, that it doesn't feel real, right? And that's the last thing I want. I don't want us to not be authentic. I don't want us to have like some formula, some copy and paste blah that people are receiving. I want us to have and build genuine relationships with people and connect with people, so we really know how to help them, which by consequence allows you to make a shit ton of money, right? And so what I want everyone to understand is this peak, share, and three-way. So I'm going to break it down, and obviously, Tim, plug in and out as you wish. So for me, peaking, right? Peaking. And these are some things that I think over the last couple months, I've heard different ways of how people peak interest and what kind of ways there are, and maybe what kind of categories you might fit in as someone who does peak interest. And a really, really cool thing that I realized and that I heard was, there's different types of people in this peaking interest category, right? Some people are entertainers, right? Like or edutainers. I think Marcellus is a perfect example of an edutainer, right? Someone that's having fun, sometimes dancing, rapping, you're singing around, being kind of silly, but you're getting value at the same time. He's actually teaching you something at the same time. So you kind of have to understand, what kind of person are you, right? What kind of information do you want to give, and how do you want to give it, right? because it's so dope to see, you know, some people are more on the spiritual level, right? Some people are more based on, you know, just the facts, right? Tim can spit numbers to you all day, every day. So when you're piquing interest, I think it's so important to kind of know what angle you want to take, right? Some people, for example, if you watch Jason Brown's stories, right? If you see his post, all he's doing is showing impact, expressing gratitude, right? Showing the community, highlighting community. That's all he's doing. And what kind of people do you think he's going to attract into his life? People who either need to feel that gratitude, want to be a part of a community, are searching for that kind of growth mindset, or people who want to provide, right, growth, who want to provide value, who maybe want to be those entrepreneurs, who want to be the Gary V's, the Gerard Adams, the Tom Bilyeu's, right, the Ed Milet's of the world. So that's what he's going to attract. He's attracting when spitting out, right? And so you kind of have to know what is your vibe when you're piquing interest, right? What kind of things are you putting out in order for you to receive? I mean, that's what we're thinking about. Because if you're piquing interest by saying, man, like, you know, fuck 9 to 5, then are you really attracting like quality energy to you? Probably not, right? And I think sometimes what we do is we don't want, right? We don't want to have that kind of lifestyle. We don't want to have the 9 to 5, and there's all these things that you don't want. But if all you're talking about is what you don't want or what you're getting away from, then all you're attracting is what you don't want, right? You're focusing so much on the lack. So when you're piquing interest, guys, I want you to have fun with it, right? I think that's the most organic way. I know if John's on this call, I know he's in New York, but the cool thing is this, right? John's like, yeah, man, I made this video, right? I made kind of my exposure video. And as soon as I did it, bro, I was having fun. It was funny. If you haven't seen it, go on Johnny Cave's Instagram and watch it. I think it was second to last video or something. But it was really cool. He kind of exposed you to what this is. He had fun with it. It was funny. It's kind of goofy. But he really generally provided value, right? And he did it, and it was easy for him because that's just who he is. And so when you're piquing interest, I think it's important to highlight what you're really receiving. Right? If you feel like, man, I'm actually learning how to, like, you know, do my taxes and shit. I'm actually learning how to grow my money, right? Awesome. Talk about those things. Because here's the thing. You don't have to talk about Forex is the largest market in the world, right? $7 trillion. Like, no, okay, that's cool, whatever. But it's only going to go so far, right? It's only really going to take you so far. So when you're piquing interest, it's not the main idea of piquing interest isn't giving people all the information about what Forex is. Piquing interest is really, how can this apply to their lives? That's all piquing interest is, right? How can this apply to their lives? And that's why it's so cool when you kind of give different angles, right? You can show people, you can talk about, you know, the flexibility of what you can do here, right? Maybe you can talk about, right, an example of you know, making money off of your phone. And so there's just different ways of doing it, you know. Having people say that 401ks are a ripoff, right? So like, there's so many different ways to pique interest. You know, I remember I saw one of the guys who used to be on the team. He posted a picture of him underwater showing his MT4, right? That piqued some damn interest. Imagine that. You're like, what is this kid doing underwater, like on his phone with the chart? That's crazy, right? So for me, I think piquing interest is something that has no rules to it, and that's how it should be done, right? There's really no rules to how this can be done, and that's kind of why, to me, I think building a relationship is interesting, right? And unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, you can't share profits. You really can't, right? It is what it is. But at the same time, right, people who really are going to get into investing, their mind needs to be investor's mindset first, or at least needs to be open to that mindset. Because if someone's seeing you just made $15,000 today, what are they going to think is going to happen right away for them? The same thing, right? And then their expectations aren't met, right? So it's like, I think to me, the cool thing is, you know, whether you're traveling all the time or you're not, right? Document your process. Be real, right? That's what people want to hear. Talk about your failures. Be like, yeah, I blew another account today. Yeah, I did it. Damn. You know what? They keep telling me to use a stop loss, but it just hasn't clicked for me yet, right? So I think that's why when it comes down to peak interest, if it's on a general level, right? If it's on a general level, guys, like you're posting in your stories or you're posting on your post or you're posting, make it in a way that is fun to you. And then if you're piquing interest in a conversation, you have all the information, right? That every single word and sentence, and the more you learn about this person, is just information for you to use to know how to pique interest for people, right? That's all you're doing, because Forex isn't about the numbers. Forex is about the life that they can live.
Yeah, and Mike's really diving into, I would say, the cold marketing side of this, of just like indirect marketing of, hey, I'm just providing value to the world, right? And I think this isn't meant to be a social media training. We'll have to have another conversation about social media, but this is why adding new people on your Instagram or adding new people on your Facebook or getting new people on Snapchat is important, because new eyes seeing the value provided, everyone's going to look at value differently. Someone's going to be very attracted to a funny video. Someone's going to be more attracted to numbers. Someone's going to be attracted to your traveling. Someone's going to be attracted to the events. You have to mix it up, right? You have to mix it up. That's extremely important. And you can't be robotic. I talk about this when I talk about posting stories. You can't, all of a sudden sign up day one and become someone that you're not. Right? You cannot be a sales machine. This isn't sales, right? We don't want to sell people on this. Like, I know we're like, I want to get 500 people in my business, but trust me, you just don't want 500 people. You want 500 of the right people. That's really, really, really important, because you can get 500 people, but do you want to be miserable with who you're working with? Or do you want to enjoy that process and work with people who are on the same vision as you? Now, not everyone's going to see the same way. Not everyone's going to believe the same thing, right? You're going to work with people, and probably outside of business, you probably have a lot of differences, right? But as long as you are aligned in the overall goal of what we're doing here, that's so much more important. And the one thing I would say and suggest, and this is where I'm going to come in after Mike goes over edification, when I start talking about, making the list and inviting, is when you're brand new, right? So let's say you never actually launched the business yet. Let's say you've been trading for a couple months, and you've been really quiet, or you've been doing the business, but you haven't even made a list yet. You talked to 5 people, right? Oh, no one wants to do it. Well, how many people have you talked to? 5. Okay, well, no one that you talk to wants to do it, but people do want to do it, right? So when you're brand new, and I will really go deep into this, you don't want to miss that gap of time where you have the opportunity to ask for someone's opinion, right? But if you're day one and you just start throwing up on everyone on social media, and then all of a sudden you get on a phone call with Brady, be like, hey, Brady, I'm about to launch something. I want to get your opinion on it. And Brady's like, hey, man, is that the thing you're talking about all the time on Instagram? That thing's super annoying, right? You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand where you're at. What Mike is really talking about is when you're new, slowly transitioning into it as you begin to transform who you are. So now it's more natural. And then number 2, when you've been in the business for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, right? Now you have to come from a position of value, right? This is what happens a lot of time with people who are in the industry for 3+ years. They get stuck because they haven't switched up what they've been doing, right? Like Mike and I's next transition, honestly, is videos, right? I've seen people who I've known on Facebook for a very long time, extremely stagnant. Then they started making videos and they switched it up, and people started watching them from different companies. And when the time was right, they came, right? So everyone's in a different position, and it's okay to ask, where am I and what should I be doing? But what Mike is talking about is super important for the long term, because consistency pays. If I tell you to make a list, make the phone call, and someone's not available, and what I mean by not available is not open to receive yet, they're going to watch the value that you consistently post over time, and that's going to be the re-exposure, right? Because it takes 5 to 7 times of exposure to get 90% of signups. So understand that is 90% of signups come after exposure minimum, right? So they see the video, they come to the event, they look at the Facebook post, they look at your story, they read a personal development book, they watch a video on Instagram. That's 6 exposures, right? Then they may be ready to set up. or sign up or get started or make it, do whatever they want to do, right? So I just wanted to cut in on that really quick because what Mike's talking about is important, but you have to understand where you're at.
Facts. Major facts. In the idea, I guess I really wanted to go, kind of deep into it because what for me and from what I've seen is I want you to avoid kind of the mistakes of sometimes. Because sometimes we get so excited about what we got, but we don't know what we got. And sometimes we get so excited and we kind of want to puke all over people, but this is not the right way to do it, right? So anyways, going back to it, it's a simple step. I guess let's keep it more simple, right? You pique interest. Right? How you do that, just make it feel genuine, right, to you. Relate it to your experience, right? From there, that's what we're talking about. Share the plan, right? Share what's going on over here. And at the end of the day, right, to me, and I think Tim and I have a little bit of a different approach on this, and it works. And I think this is based on your personality. I know for Tim, he likes showing the video, right, of kind of how it works, what we're doing. And then once someone gets it, can see it, it's like, yeah, this is something I want to get into. Cool. Then you have the 3-way call, right? That's when you plug in your mentor, whoever got you started, whoever you feel as, okay, this person knows what they're doing, and they can make sure that the information is really transferred effectively, right? And so with that being said, if I'm like, hey, hey Johnny, yeah man, this guy Tim, dude, he's a beast, bro. He's gonna tell you all about this Forex stuff, right? Is Johnny really gonna take you serious, right? Is Johnny really gonna take him serious? Because remember, we're talking about someone who's going to introduce you to literally a life-changing experience. How are you going to, right, introduce your friend to Tim like that? It doesn't even have to be about Tim. It can be anybody, right? But the idea is you're bringing them into a community of infinite growth, right? You're bringing them into a community of an infinite game, and you're going to introduce them to the person, right? The messenger of this value as Joe Schmo, of this homie, this beast. This dude's insane, man. Yeah, you just gotta just trust me, bro. Like, this guy's crazy. Listen, right? nah. Like, and the thing is like, remember, not everyone's used to this, right? And some of you don't even know what you have, so you don't realize like how important it actually is to transfer this the right way, right? So if I'm going to edify someone, what are some of the key points I want to talk about, right? If I'm edifying Tim, what I want to talk about, if I'm edifying anybody, right, I want to talk about the impact that person has had on my life, right? That's what I really want to highlight. How much that person really gives a fuck. That's what I'm looking at, right? And also a big thing is understanding what kind of personality types are you talking to, right? If I'm talking to Adam, whoever Adam is, right? And this guy's like, man, he's like, yo, bro, like, I see this, bro. I want to make money, man. I'm just money hungry, bro. I'll do whatever it takes. Like, let's go. Let's do this, man. I'm hyped, right? Plug them in with someone who's at that kind of energy, right? That has that kind of mentality, right? If you're speaking to someone who's like, you know what, I really, really see the vision. I get this. This is kind of cool. With this, I feel like I can really open up my church and I can start making, houses all over the world. Plug them in with someone who's more empathetic like that, right? And so, kind of work with different kinds of people, know who you're plugging them into, right? If hey, yeah, man, I have 5 years of networking experience before, I really know I can bring a big group of people into this. I just want to make sure I'm with the right people and in their systems and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Plug them in with someone who's more system oriented, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So kind of know which way and how you're working. Understand those kind of people, because then you remember they want to work with people that they're like, right? But that can push them to the next level. So people are really looking to work with someone kind of like them, but that's on a higher frequency, right? And so when you do your edification, it's got to be amazing. There's a lot of people who are really, really, really good at doing this, because they know how to transfer the energy super well. right? And so if I'm going to edify someone, I'm going to talk about what kind of impact they've had on me, right? What kind of impact they've had in the people around me, in the community, what kind of impact they're having in the company, what vision they have, right? And where they're going. Because what you're really doing is you're showing the people that are about to get started where they're going to, right? And that's the biggest thing, right? If in let's say you have your,
Hey,
let's
Mike,
say someone's helping you.
can
Go
you
ahead,
say
bro.
that one more time for the group so we can type that out? 'Cause I want to make sure everyone hits every single point there, because that's literally the most perfect edification.
All right, awesome. So what I was saying was this, right? You want to focus on these concepts, right? So who you are edifying, like how that person has impacted you, how that person has impacted the people around you, how that person has impacted the company, right? And then you want to show them and explain to them where this person is going, because that's almost hinting at the future that the new person is getting started, where they're going. Because when you paint a picture of where Tim is going, then you're really just painting the picture of where they're going to go and what's possible. You can even by edifying Tim, you can add how he's been mentored by 8-figure, 9-figure earners in these industries, right? Who this person's directly working with. And then all now what you're doing is you're actually giving exposure to other people. You're saying, hey, the person you're about to talk to, they're connected with the most cash-rich billionaire on the planet. Wait, what? You're getting me on a call with someone who's had direct mentorship from the most cash-rich billionaire on the planet. Okay, yeah, let me get on the call, right? And in this edification as well, you're not just highlighting the person, right? You want to highlight the value of their time, right? You want to highlight the value of their time. Someone who's really good at doing this is John, Nancy. Jordan's really good at doing this. Brady, right? At least because the people that gave me a call the most. And then the people that are genuinely, I don't get no shows, right? And it's because of how it's set up. How do you set up those people for success? And so he go, hey man, hey brother, I'm plugging you with Mike, blah, 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 right? This is someone who, works with over 700 people and educates for over 100,000 people. I've managed to lock in about 20 to 30 minutes with him. And I'm so excited for you to meet him, because this is someone who's, his time is very, very, very valuable. And, he's doing me a favor by getting on this call. And so I'm excited for you to meet him. Come ready with questions. Come ready with notebook, because this is, you're going to receive a tremendous amount of value, right? So you really have to highlight it, because here's the thing. The reason someone else is having this conversation with that person is generally because whoever already knows you, right? Whoever you're talking to right now either knows you or knows you through in person or not in person. And so you're putting them at a leverage point, right? The reason it's easy to lift someone up where you're higher position is because of leverage, right? So that's what we're doing right now. By you edifying and making their time valuable, right? Making their worth and what they provide valuable, right? Now you put them up at a pedestal. And if I'm right here and the new person's right here, then it's a lot easier to pull them up to this opportunity, right? It gives this person credibility. And so remember it, and when it comes to these edifications, it doesn't have to be, Tim or me. Let's say you're doing it with someone who's only been in for a month. Let's say a month from now, right? You just have a team of 12 and now you're helping 12 people, right? And you're like, oh, cool. Hey, you have to edify me. I've only been in for a month. So what can you do? What can you do when you're edifying someone that doesn't have that much experience, right? It's the same concepts. Hey, look, hey man, I'm plugging you in with Nancy, right? This is someone that in just as short as in 1 month has poured, hundreds of hours already learning this. She's been practicing again and again and again. And I've seen the way, like, she's been so focused on this and the vision that she has, that I'm working with her hand to hand, because this is someone who before this has found success, right? Someone who's always had that kind of mentality, someone who's always, is the kind of person that never skips a day at the gym. This is the kind of person. So it's like, you don't have to reference so much, oh, is this a great trader? Is this a great builder? Not at all, right? The idea is to focus on the person, right? If you just got started and you maybe don't have results as a trader or as a networker, right? Let's talk about what kind of person you are. This is someone, right? Someone who has the discipline, who has the mindset. Maybe they've gone in and they've got their master's degree, right? This is something, just speak on that person. This is someone that as soon as I got started, they took my hand and they've been guiding me through this nonstop, every single day, making sure that, hey, are you, how far are you in the academy? Is it making sense for you? Can I get on a call? Hey, I want to explain this more in depth, more profound, right? Hey, this is someone who's been introducing me to all these kinds of books that I didn't even realize, or my mind's just been blown for the last, month, 6 weeks, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's kind of where it's not that difficult to give people, like, the credibility that they deserve. And that's how I look at it, at least. Tim, I don't know if you want to add anything on as far as edification goes.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much it. I mean, edification is what allows that person to come in and be the closer, be the presenter. You know what I'm saying? It places, it's positioning, right? It's leveraging. Edification is super important. And I think one thing to understand, Mike said understanding personality types, is if you understand the personality type of that individual who is becoming the third party, right? So if, Mike's bringing me on a call and we have Brady, he wants me to speak to Brady, I have to understand that person's personality type. So edification, a lot of the times, is, you're speaking in a way that is going to relate to that person. Because if someone's super money hungry, but not at one point at time did you ever mention a dollar sign or a number of people they're impacting or whatever, they're not going to relate to it. So know what kind of personality you have. If they're red, they're typically very aggressive, and they have colors, they have numbers, they have animals for this, but I'll just use red, yellow, green, and blue. Make sure you write these down. The red person's aggressive. They're very money focused, right? They want to know if they can make money with this or not, right? They're here to make money, and they're going to do it quickly, right? The yellow person is someone who's fun focused, right? They want to travel. They want to go around the world, right? They want to experience things. This is a lot of millennials, actually. The green is someone who's a philanthropist, very mission driven, right? Someone that's looking to make an impact, leave a legacy, and do something for the world. Blue is someone that just wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves, or be around an environment that makes them feel good, right? Being in an environment that makes them feel good. So I'll say that again. Red's very money focused, aggressive. Yellow's very fun focused, wants to travel, have experiences. Green's very philanthropy focused, impact focused, mission driven. Blue is there for the environment. They're there for the group. They're there to feel good, right? They just want to be a part of something. And what a lot of people don't understand is that an overwhelming majority of people are not money hungry, right? 75% of people are yellow, green, or blue, right? There's such a small percentage of people that are actually money focused, aggressive. So a lot of the times people think like, oh man, I have to edify Jason Brown as someone who makes $500,000 a month. No one really gives a shit. No one really cares. And Jason even talks about that. He says, no one cares how much money I make, because then it makes people think that I'm arrogant. What they want to know is what I'm actually doing and how can I help them. And that's why I'm glad that Mike brought that up. And so another thing that helps the person who's presenting or closing is for them to know the personality type. So if Brady's, if Mike's edifying Brady, he's edifying me, and then he says, Green was philanthropy, mission-driven, impact-driven, wants to leave a legacy, impact the world, stuff like that. Mike will say, hey, Tim, hey, Brady, this is Tim, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Tim, this is Brady. He's a very good friend of mine. He's very mission-driven. He's looking to leave an impact in the world, and he sees our company as something that's able to do that. Boom. Now I'm triggered to know that I need to talk about the impact that our blueprint, aka the compensation plan, has. Hey, Tim, this is Brady, a very good friend of mine. This dude can make money. I've never seen anyone who's able to touch something and turn it into gold. Awesome. I can start talking numbers. Hey, Tim, this is Brady. He's actually a missionary. He loves serving people, wants to leave a legacy. Now I know how to talk about impact. Okay. Hey, Tim, this is Brady. He loves books. He loves personal development. He's always the guy in the room that's smiling and making everyone feel. Now I know how to talk about community, right? So use trigger words in counter edification, because counter edification makes people feel good and more attentive to the person that's put on the pedestal, right? Because now Brady's saying, wow, this person's so huge. He's saying all these things about Tim. And then Mike turns it around and says, wow, now he's saying so much nice stuff about me, and he's making me look good in front of Tim. I want to talk more to Tim. I want to talk more to Tim. And if the edified person is good, right? Remember, if they're good, they'll be interested, not interesting, right? We will focus more on them than we'll focus on that edification. We'll actually not even talk about a lot of what we've been edified on, because we want to target what that person needs. And so edification is super, super, super huge and super powerful. And Mike brought this up as well, is, Tim likes the video, I like the calls, right? And what's cool about this is over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be an op call every single day. So I'm going to touch on that, right? A lot of the reasons, and I'll give you a reason why I prefer having some type of webinar before I even do a call, is because I like to, I guess, cancel out people that aren't going to take it seriously. David Amitié does this. He says, I will never speak to someone if they haven't seen my video. He just won't. Now, David Amitié is a little bit different. He's David Amitié, right? But at the end of the day, the video works well for me because I edify it, right? Look at it like this. If I message Mike and say, hey, man, I had someone message me today off me posting that Next Wave mentorship thing, right, guys? This is why it's super important. When someone posts their link in Instagram, go comment on it really quick. Help them out. Someone messaged me and saying, bro, like, I've been watching you. I have no clue what the hell you're doing. You look like you're killing it. Like, how do I get information on what you're doing? I was like, hey, man, I actually even answered the question. I said, hey, man, it's awesome to catch up with you. How are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and by the way, I'm actually doing a large webinar tomorrow where you just have to hop on and listen in. Are you available at 7 p.m. Central Time? Right? I became interested in him right away. He was interested in me, but I became interested in him. And then I said, oh, hey, by the way, now let me answer your question, because now I care about you.
One thing I want to add, and is kind of a challenge. I want to challenge everyone on this call. And this is when you've mastered the edification up and the edification down, right? And I want you to get someone on a call, right? Get someone who's obviously interested. Get them on a call and have them get started without us showing anything at all. What do I mean by that? Some of you are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? This is what I mean by that, right? There's been moments, and I think my brother's done this a couple times, where he edified me, and then he edified the person that is being introduced to me to an extent, right, that allowed both of us to be so interested in that person, the prospect, right, the new trader, that we just asked him question or her questions about themselves, and by the end of the conversation, right, they're excited to get started, and they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they're starting. But the reason being is because you've mastered the skill set of listening, right? And you're providing value by genuinely being
Just tell
there.
them you already know this shit. No, I like it.
I bet. So, and the reality is this, right? It's simple concepts, but the reason is, right, most people don't know how to listen. That's facts. Like, especially if you think you haven't or understand this information, that definitely means you don't know shit. So most people are telling you exactly what they need in their lives to grow and to become more, but you're so focused on what you want out of them that you miss the entire point. That you miss that moment for you to truly connect and provide value, right? And so this is for me, like, how it works. Trust me, I have the most leverage out of anybody in this call because of the trading, because of the education, because of the results, right? I could be flexing all the profits that I wanted, but I never have to. And I do the least amount of talking. Why? Because I just know how to listen to people. I know how to give them what they need. It's that simple. So if I can do that and I have all the right to do everything else, then it's just about creating a relationship, right? So remember, that's kind of the point of this right here, is to be able to do that, right? If you can't do that, then like, this isn't for you.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for in regards to edification. And what I was saying earlier is, you know, when I've piqued interest, right? Interest is peaked. People are asking me the question. You know you've piqued interest when people begin to ask you questions. That's how you know you've accomplished P. Now, sharing the plan, I really should make it PES, right? I keep changing the phrase all the time because I'm like, it's PS3A because you got to assume at the end, blah, 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 right? But edify, right? So when I say, Mike reaches out to me, I'm like, hey man, I'm actually insanely busy right now, but what I can do for you to make sure that this is actually something that piques your interest, I even use the phrase it, make sure that this is something that piques your interest. A business partner of mine who I have a lot of respect for, who's actually traveled around the world and helped thousands of people do exactly what I'm doing, made a quick video, 13 minutes long, that breaks down what the market is, how we actually educate people to make money in the market, and how you get started. If I send you that video, would you be willing to check it out? Awesome. Yeah, bro. I'd be super excited. Let me send that my way. Don't, man. I'm going to find it really quick and send it to you. Boom. Couple minutes away, send them a video. Hey, man, here's the video. When do you think you can have it done? When do you think you can have it done? Hey, I'm going to watch it right now, actually. Cool. Well, I'm in a meeting, so let me reach out to you in about 45 minutes. Does that work for you? Perfect. Awesome, man. I can't wait to see what you like best. 45 minutes goes down. Bum, 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 bum. Yo, Mike, what'd you like best about it, bro? Oh, well, dude, the mentorship is crazy. Like, I didn't even understand that there was platforms like this. You know what, Mike? Something's actually, I don't know if you'll believe me, but I don't know how I got so blessed, but I actually work with an organization called the Trade House, and they curated that Go Live mentorship program. I think if you see the same vision I do, you and I could absolutely kill this together. How about this, bro? Let's get you started. And once you're in, I'll actually introduce you to one of the educators to help you get launched. I just assumed, hey, that's awesome. Cool, bro. Let's get you started right now. And then what happens if they say no? Hey, no problem, bro. How about this? When I first got started, I had tons of questions too. If I can reach out to my mentor and see if he has some time in the next day or so, would you be open to chatting with him? Of course he is, because he just gave you something that he's interested about. Now you plug Mike into the group chat, you plug me into the group chat, you plug your mentor, whomever, into the group chat, edification, close. That's it. That's how simple PS3 is. That is literally PS3. Piquing the interest, edifying what you're sharing, assuming the close. If no close, three-way call.
One thing I want to bring up, the reason we're having these trainings, the reason we're explaining some things that are simple is because not everyone already has an open mind and wants to really, or even realizes that they're ready to evolve and they're ready to receive more, right? That's right. We have to get creative in the way we communicate, right? The reason we get creative in the way we communicate is so that we can definitely, right? So that we can definitely get the point across on what this really means and why this really works. Because most people are confused on what is it that we do, right? Or how this really works, how the market works, et cetera, right? So that's the reality. Like, that's why we have to get creative, right? That's what we have to do. It's just because most people just don't know that they don't know. You know what I mean? So I really want to get that point across, just so that we understand why we have these kind of trainings, and why we're actually looking to get more creative with the way we communicate.
Awesome. And I'm going to, we've knocked out about 15 minutes on this topic now. And I know Mike has go live at 9, so we only really have an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go through making a list and inviting. And these are going to be individual topics that I'm going to do after convention as well. So a lot of what we're talking about now, is extremely important for, how do I say this? It's extremely important to be refreshed on, because if you're not at a place, like the reason we're doing this call, remember we said it's the Chairman Bootcamp. The reason we're doing this call is so that you can duplicate the information to other people, because it's not what you can do, it's what you can duplicate, right? I can see it. This happens all the time. There's someone who's a very, very good recruiter. They can get people on board left and right. But when I look at their back office, their whole entire team says 0 PSRV, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Their team is not being duplicated, right? They got 30 personals, but no one's customer 2 and free, right? So it's not what you can do, it's what you can duplicate. And that's why we're giving you so many different types of examples. We're overloading you with information. It's why we're recording the call, right? So you can take the information, review the information, go back at it, do whatever you got to do with it, and be able to teach it. And another big thing is you're going to hear us name drop a couple times. Voice message, Nancy, say, hey, like, how do you set something up? Can you send me a quick voice message of your example edification? You know, reach out to your leader, reach out to us and ask those private personal questions. It will really help you, right? The quality of your questions determine the quality of your life. And the more questions to ask, the easier this is going to be. So I'm going to dive right into the list. The list is, guys, this is a business, right? What happens in a traditional business? You need capital. Now, why every single billionaire and multimillionaire, really, why most successful people say, if I ever lost everything, right? If I ever lost everything, I would start at network marketing. They say this because it doesn't require financial capital. It requires human capital. And human capital is more powerful than financial capital anyways, because humans are the only ones that are able to imagine. Money is just money, right? Humans are able to imagine and create and make things happen. Your list is your capital. Your list is your capital. Creating your list is the same exact thing as a business owner creating a list of banks that they need to go and present to get funds for investments. Going to angel investors, going to family members, going to people to receive. When you present to people, they're not investing monetarily into your business, they're investing into you. Right? They're investing into you. They're investing to the company. They're investing to themselves. And so you need human capital. That is what this is. Human capital thus becomes business associates. Business associates thus become your driving force to create the impact that you want to make. And so making the list is the most important thing. You know, I learned this from an individual, and he said that making a list of 25 is for amateurs. Making a list of 150 is for people that are, you know, hungry, and making a list of 250 plus are for people that are starving. Now, one thing I don't recommend is writing down 250 names right away. Just that doesn't make any sense. I think it's best to make list of 30. 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Take some time, go through the contact book. You have an unlimited number of people to speak to. I have like 1,000 contacts in my phone. I can never have the excuse that there's not enough people. I just can't. I just can't. I can go through Instagram. You can go through Facebook. You can literally go to Instagram, hashtag network marketing tips, and start recruiting through there, right? You can go to Instagram, hashtag I need a new job, recruit through there. You can go to Facebook and type in networking groups, car groups, any type of group in the world, and start going through there. But understanding, just like you have to understand someone's personality type for an edification, you have to understand your level of influence for an invitation, right? So the same way we have to understand someone's personality type for edification, we have to understand our level of influence, right? We have to understand our level of influence for an invitation. And I'm going to speak on both ways. I'm going to give an example of how do I promote quick information? And then how do I promote and invite someone to an event? And I'm going to do this in 10 minutes. I'm going to go really, really, really fast. What part? You need to understand someone's that part. You need to understand someone's personality type for edification, and you need to understand your level of influence for invitation. Right? So there's 3 levels of influence when it comes to inviting. And this is how you're going to make your list. Your groups of 30. Right? Your groups of 30. Sometimes they'll be equal. Sometimes some lists will be bigger. Sometimes some lists will be really small. It just doesn't matter. But you have to write names down. You have to do the activity. Because if you're not actually tracking the activity, you can never go back and look. Like this is why I laugh. It's like, oh man, no one wants to do this. None of my friends want to do this. Well, how many people have you invited to the event? Oh, I talked to 5 people today. So you've only done it today. and you've been with the company for 3 months. Brother, it's 5 people a day, not 5 people every 90. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can speak to 5 people a day doing this part-time, right? In 10 minutes, you can reach out to 5 people, right? If you're doing this full-time, it should be 20 plus people a day. If it's part-time, 5 people a day. Beyond the point, levels of influence, right? I'll say it one more time for you guys. I'll do it really slow since everyone wants this one. You have to understand someone's personality type. You have to understand someone's personality type in order to edify. And you have to understand your level of influence in order to invite or for invitation. Whatever makes it sound good, y'all make it sound cute. But there you go. So there's 3 levels of influence, 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 is who you have influence over. People that you have influence over. And some good examples, I have some notes that I took. I actually took notes, y'all. It's pretty much someone that you can tell what to do. You know, this could be a sibling. This could be people that typically just follow you. This could be your yes man. You know, this could be, sometimes it can be younger family members or cousin, you know, people where you're like, hey, let's go to this place. They're like, sure, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Right? Those are people that you have level of influence over. Group number 2 that you make your list in is people that are equal to you. So like classmates, coworkers, your peers, typically people that you party with, you know, people. And a lot of times it comes down to income. A lot of people look at influence as income, people who are in the same, you know, career as you, different things like that. And then number 10 is your critical prospects, people that have influence over you. This is the best way to determine what group someone's in. If you're looking through your contact book and you're like, oh yeah, this person will definitely do it, you have influence over them. If you look at your contact book and you see a name and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk to this person, they have influence over you. That's called fear. And if you're irrelevant either way, they're most likely to have equal influence with you. That's the easiest way to tell what group people belong in. Now, before I move forward, this is something that's really important. You need to have a list before you get to New York. You need to have a list before you get to New York. Work on it tonight. Work on it while you're on the plane. Work on it while you're in your Uber. Work on it little by little. The list, the pipeline, I'm going to talk about this on Thursday. It just continuously needs to be growing, always. And it needs to be trackable, right? You need to be able to track it, because if I talk to Mike today, I need to write down what he told me, right? So a couple weeks from now, I can reach out to him again, right? And I'll talk about, you know, how much you should reach out to people. I call it the double up rule, whatever. I'll do that on Thursday. But you need to get it started, because when the event happens on Saturday, right? Sundays typically is going to be a reflection day. You're going to be exhausted. It's going to be a recap day. It's going to be a travel day, whatever it may be, right? You do not want to waste time having to make your list then when you could be making phone calls, when you could be sending messages, right? When you could be shooting videos, when you could be, get it done now, right? Get it done now, because when we say that QC is going to add 1,000 family members by March 31st, it doesn't happen by doing things later. It happens now. Yeah, we're not in the max influx stage, right? We're not in max influx. Starts on the 15th. It starts on the 15th. From the 15th to the 31st, massive influx. But from today to the 15th, it's preparation, right? It's preparation. It's your whisper campaign. I'm not going to do a whisper campaign training. It's a phenomenal training. I think we'll probably do that going into the summertime, right before the P2K retreat. We'll do an Impact 20 and 30. One of my favorite things to do in Impact 20 and 30. We'll most likely do that right before once we know the Platinum 2000 dates. And by the way, guys, had a call with John Guaman. It's most likely going to be the second week of June. We will be in Miami. And I think Matt, Jason, and Alex have all verified that they will be there for the Platinum 2000 retreat. So that should boost your level of excitement even more. If you went to the previous retreat, you have to be a Platinum 5000. So Jordan, Brady, Nancy, P5K to get there. That's the same rule for all the other guys and girls who were there who were P2Ks. They have to go to the next rank. They do that in order to motivate you to move. So influence, right? How do I speak to these people with influence. And I only got a couple minutes to run through this because I really want Mike to go through these basics, because breaking down the basics is the most powerful thing that you can ever do. Okay, let's do this. Level 1, right? Your people that you have influence over. I'm going to do an example of the video, and then I'll do an example of inviting to an event. So if I have influence over Mike, let's say Mike's my cousin, right? Yo, Mike, I just found something out. I need you to watch this video right now. Trust me, bro, this is going to blow up. What is it, dude? Tim, what is it? Just watch it really quick. You and I are about to run this up. Right? Use whatever verbiage works best for you. That's how I would talk to someone I have influence over. Yo, Ryan, I need you to watch this now, bro. I need you to get the information in your head, because once it's done, you and I are starting. You literally tell the person what to do. When you have influence over someone, they want to be guided by you. They want to be guided by you, right? You guide them to exactly what they need to do. Hey, bro, this is the game plan. I need you to watch this really quick so you understand what we're about to do. You and I are about to run this up, and we're going to make a shit ton of money. That's level of influence. Now, how do you invite someone to the event? Yo, Ryan, what are you doing on Saturday afternoon? Nothing, bro. Dope. You and I are going to the seminar. There's actually someone who's been on Forbes 30 under 30. He's going to be educating people on financial literacy. You and I are about to run this up. That's it. You are demanding, you are commanding, you are decreeing, you are declaring. You guide, you push, and you make it happen. You'd be surprised how many people you could sign up and get started literally by just saying, yo, you and I are doing this together. People are like, oh, okay, let's run it up. This looks cool. But sometimes we make it so difficult. We're like, hey, man, well, it's cool. I've been learning. I haven't made any profit yet, but I'm learning. No, bro, you and I are running this up. Let's go. Right? You are an influencer. Awesome. Right? Mike, anything you want to comment on that? I know I'm very direct with level 1s, but maybe you have a separate perspective.
Nah, you know the vibes, bro. It's all how it is.
Okay. Awesome. Now, people you have equal influence with sometimes you have to build a relationship, right? A lot of relationship building happens when you don't know the person or you haven't spoken to the person in a while, right? And so one way that I like to peak influence, especially with people who I'm equal influence with, is, hey Ryan, have you ever looked up any ways online to make like extra money, bro? Yeah, man, I looked into, drop shipping once, but I never really got into it. This is the best thing. Well, hey, I'm actually looking to get into a side project, and I'm really excited about it, right? I think I found a vehicle that's going to actually work for you and I, right? Hey, go ahead and check this out, right? That you can pique interest by asking if they've ever looked into something, right? Yeah, I've actually looked into something, but I didn't get into it. Why didn't you get into it? Oh, well, it looked really difficult. But hey, bro, I actually found something that I think is going to work, right? That's that. I like to do this. Sometimes you can use what you do in option number 3 for people you have influence over, or people that have influence over you, to equal influencers. Sometimes compliments. Hey, Ryan, I'm actually looking to get into a side project. I think it's going to be extremely lucrative, and I know you've always had my best interest in mind. Can you check it out really quick so I can get your opinion on it? That is my favorite line of all time. That is the secret line that I don't want to share with people, because that is the secret. Hey, Ryan, I'm working on a side project, and I think it's going to be extremely lucrative. I'm super excited about it. Before I get started, I know you've always had my best interest in mind, so I want to get your opinion on it. Would you be willing to check it out for me? Boom. That's it. That's really it. My mentor gave me this statement. I'll read this out loud. I don't know how I feel about it, but you guys can take it, right? Whatever works best for you. There's not one way, right? There is not one way. Whatever works best for you guys. I'm just throwing a couple out there, right? He says, hey Ryan, I'm working on a project, or I'm working on something really exciting right now. Insert your why. Hey Ryan, I'm working on a project right now. You know that I've been struggling and I'm really looking for ways to, create more financial freedom for me and my family. And I believe I found a solution, or I believe I found a vehicle that's going to help me solve that issue. Or, hey, Ryan, I'm working on a project right now. And we've been growing, me, bro, we've been growing up, or we've known each other ever since we were little. And we've always been looking for ways to make money. And I think I finally found that vehicle that's going to solve that problem that we already have. Could you do me a massive favor and check out this video really quick and give me your honest opinion about it? That's something I learned from a gentleman named Rosaki Hill, 7-figure social media guru. The dude's a freaking monster. I paid for private mentorship from him. He's a massive reason behind why I had Impact Social Group when that blew up. It's great. Can you type that out so we can all write it down here? I'll just copy and paste what he said. You guys want to see what he told me to say for number ones for people you have influence over? He says, go to my website, John, and sign up. He says, go to my website and sign up. People you have to just literally have to say things sometimes to people you have influence over. Yo, Mike, I'm about to run this project, bro. I'm sending you the link. You and I are running it up together. What is it? We're running it up together. Okay.
I want to touch on that because I think it's just a level of frequency. It's a level of posture that you have, because guys, it's honestly, I just tell people to get started. Like, that's it. Hey, like, how do I learn with you, bro? Like, how does it work? Here's a link. Like, get started. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Is there a community? Of course, bro. Come on. Of course. What do you think I am? I don't provide value or something? Like, it's just like, if you know what you have and you can really channel and just transfer that energy over, like, I think sometimes it even overcomplicate things. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. And so that's typically with the videos. Right. I'm a video-based person, right? I also do like promoting for calls. Like today I promoted for the Wednesday call, right? Because he asked and I said, cool, I'm going to be presenting. I'm going to get him on that call. And I know this person, right? So I want him to see a presentation. I don't want him to see a video. It's not just some random Joe Schmo on Instagram, right? So inviting for an event. So Illinois squad, Midwest squad, you should really be paying attention to these, especially what we're teaching on now with Alex Morin coming, Darwin coming, Mike Nancy, all of us presenting. Like, really be paying attention to these things here. Someone that you have equal value with is, it comes down to the perfect invite. Hey, Mike, what are you doing Saturday at 3 p.m.? Nothing, bro. Awesome, man. Well, I'm actually going to this seminar to learn about financial literacy and how to actually get involved in the market. I'm super excited with how the market's looking now. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to get involved, right? I bought a couple extra tickets. You want to come with me? Something super basic, right? Like, you don't have to be super aggressive with them. You don't have to, overhold their hand or, rub their ego. You got to ask the question. Hey, bro, I'm going to this event tomorrow night. I'm super excited about it. What are you doing? That's pretty much it, right? Just very, very basic, simple things. Now, what a lot of people think is that the next one, people that have influence over you, is the hardest one. That's actually not true. It's the easiest one. And the reason why I say that is because you get to play off people, right? You get to play off people. You get to play off that people like to be talked about, and then you get to leverage your third party. So the best way to do this is to say, hey, Mike, I've always had a lot of respect for you, and I've been watching you over time on how you've successfully been able to build your own business. I'm actually looking to do the same exact thing for myself, and I know you've always had my best interest in mind. On Saturday, I'm going to a seminar to learn about financial literacy and creating online businesses, and I would love to get your blessing on this. Would you be open to giving me your honest opinion? That's it. Like, that's literally it. Hey, Mike, I have literally watched you my whole entire life, and I love what you have done for your family. And honestly, I admire you, and I want to do the same exact thing for mine. I'm actually about to launch a business, but I want to get your blessing on it, and I want to get your opinion on it too, because if it's something that you think is valuable, it's something that you think is going to be lucrative, I know that this is the opportunity for me. Would you be open to hopping on a quick call and actually seeing how it works? That's it. Like, that's literally it. I have a little script for that one. I didn't type these out. These are just things I typed. Literally just notes from like 2 years ago. This is information I learned a long time ago, and it's the same thing. It never changes, right? He says, I respect what you've done in business or life, and I value your opinion. I would love to have your blessing over this, right? Anyone that has influence over you, never send them a webinar, right? Always get them on a three-way call with someone of high leverage. And I was actually just speaking with an amazing gentleman named Tim, and he's helped thousands of people just like you have. And I think you two meeting would be beneficial for you to truly see why I'm so excited to get started with something like this. Now, I've also heard people like Cash Cartier say, I don't give a shit who you are. Everyone gets the video, right? And it works both ways. It works all ways. It comes down to your confidence level. Guys, the whole entire conversation comes down to your confidence level, whether it's someone you have influence over, or whether it's someone you have equal influence with, or whether it's someone that has influence over you. Your confidence is everything. Because if you have someone that literally does everything you say, and you're like, hey, Mike, man, well, hey, bro, go check out this video really quick. We're going to run it up. The person will be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, and then they're not going to be interested at all because you're not confident. Remember, you're the one providing the opportunity. And you already know at least 70% of people are going to say no, right? Your list of no will always be bigger than your list of yes. Darwin Lopez said it best. I'm Chairman 100 because I've got more no's than you. You want to hit higher ranks? Go get more no's, because eventually those no's will come say yes, right? Like, you cannot be afraid of no's. The biggest thing with this is having peace of outcome. Peace of outcome is everything, right? Whether someone says yes, whether someone knows, whether someone gets started, whether someone leave, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I had this conversation with someone earlier today, and I was like, man, like, at the end of the day, as long as you don't step off the track, you're still in the race. You're still going to get to the finish line. Who cares that happened, right? Stay on course, and you'll get to the end goal. Yeah, you didn't do it in you didn't have your fastest lap ever, right? But who cares? Just keep running in circles. Keep running that lap. Boom. What are the best ways to respond when someone says they're not interested? Yeah, no means not right now, but I always ask, like, hey, what's your biggest turnoff then? I would love to hear from your perspective. I would love to hear from your perspective. Let people talk, right? The more that people talk, the more you know how to respond. And I'm going to talk about this on Thursday in regards to feel, felt, found. But let me give you a quick example. Most people aren't interested because they feel like, oh, no, I'm going to have to go talk to everybody. I'm going to have to go talk to everybody, right? And then you're like, dude, did you not realize, like, you have to break all these things down. I'll talk about that on Thursday. I'm going to go really deep into that. But I always say this about, hey, man, I completely feel you. I felt the same exact way. Actually, when I got started with this, and by the way, I've been doing this for a couple months now, I haven't spoken to anyone. Right? I didn't speak to anyone. I just saw this as a vehicle where I was able to copy professionals' trades and make money with it. I just got super excited that you were interested, and I was super grateful that someone introduced to me, so I wanted to be into the position to help someone else too. Feel, felt, found. It could be something super simple. It could be something super detailed. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let Mike into institutionals, but exactly what to say. Those trainings, Nancy, if you have those recordings, please share those in the QC chats. Those are fire. I think I have them too, actually. A lot of times people say, oh man, well, it looks like a pyramid scheme. The best thing to say to someone, especially if you have a relationship with them, is, damn, bro, like, I'm surprised like you would even think that I would be involved in something like that, and I would even introduce you to something like that, bro. That kind of hurts. You hit their emotional strings, because they're going to be like, oh, no, I don't think you're like that, bro. Like, I just don't understand why you're doing this. Feel, felt, found. Boom. Feel, felt, found. That's it. I'm going to talk about that later. But just to go into a quick review, because we talked about a lot the past hour and 10 minutes, and we kind of been just spitballing and giving you guys a lot of information here. As we talked about the power of PS3, right? Let the tools and resources work for you. What you lack in skills, there's always a tool to help you, make it a strength, right? We talked about the power of edification. Edification is literally everything. We talked about making a list, making a list before New York. Your list is your capital. You are not seriously building this business if you don't have a list. Like, I'm being honest. Like, you can't yell chairman and not have a list. Like, the list is the people, the business, right? That is the business, right? Most chairmen, and this is true. This is absolutely true. I've heard so many people say this. The average chairman will have 100 signups. The average chairman will have 100 personals. Why? I am over 145, 150 personals. Why? Because chairmen understand the power of being in phase one. They understand the power of communication. They understand the power of using their tools and resources. Chairman got to chairman because they just did all the little things, the PS3s. They literally, Jason told me this. He said, Tim, edify your way to chairman. He's like, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't have to do shit. He's like, you have to pique the interest, get someone else on the call, and they'll do the rest of the work for you. And I was like, damn, that's it? And that's literally what I did for a year and a half, 2 years in a row. Unfortunately, right, I lost my upline sponsor, right? So I had to become that person. I had to step up into that role, right? I had to step up into that role. But because I studied for so long and watched how he did it, right? Watched how I had my mentors do it, I was able to duplicate that information. And so let's get into the trading side. I know Mike has his class, and 40 minutes is never long enough for Mike nor I. Guys, this next part is super, super important, not only for you to really re-grasp maybe some of the things that you forgot in the beginning, some of the terminology, some of those little things, but also being able to explain it, right? The moment that you were able to present by yourself and break down charts, right? Because that's what we do is trading, is the moment that you have a business of your own. Like that, it's a cold, hard truth. The business really isn't your own if you can't present, you know? So understanding, okay, how did the business work? That's why we're going through it. But secondly, being able to break down a chart, being able to say like, hey man, well, if we look at this, let's break down the dollar against the yen right now. Let me actually show you why the market's moving the way it is. And when you start using the terminology, when you start saying, hey, this is why a lot of traders are losing, is because in retail trading, this is where you would enter it. But if you see this, this, and this, you would know that this would have been a much better entry and we would be able to catch this trade. If you can provide value just by showing the basics, right? Your job is you only need to show the basics. Everything else comes from go live. You are set for life. You're literally set for life. You are set for life. So I'm going to let Mike jump on here, the GOAT himself. There's honestly not a better person to learn from when it comes to this. There's no one in the world, right, that can break it down like Mike breaks it down. There's a reason why the Trade House educators always have him as special guest. There's a reason why he's always being asked to be on panels. There's a reason why that he's always asked to mentor other educators, literally private, like I'm not gonna name names because that's again like not that's privacy, right? But other educators reach out, hey, can you do a one-on-one with me? Can you do a one-on-one for my team? He's like, bro, you're an educator. Yeah, but they love watching you. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's one thing that is special. There's a way that you can differentiate traders, right? There's traders that can trade on their own. There's traders that can call out signals, and there's traders that can educate, right? Sometimes you'll get a couple traders that can do two. Sometimes they're really good at trading and they can call out signals, but they suck at educating people, right? Or there's some traders who are really good at analysis, but they suck at trading and they can't trade on their own and they can't actually call out signals. There's very few that can do all three, right? Mike, without residual income, was trading full-time with no job, withdrawing on a weekly basis, being able to match and actually do more than what he was making when he was working at the bar. Started making so much that the Air Force had to kick him out. They actually couldn't keep him because he was making more than his CEO. You know what I'm saying? Step one was done. Step two is he took that information and selflessly said, okay, everyone, you can take the same trades I'm taking. Added the whole entire psychological factor of other people's money being in the play every time he took a trade. And guys, calling out signals is rough. It's fucking hard. Not many people can do it. There are 7-figure earners who cannot call out signals because they can't handle the psychology, right? They can't handle the psychology of it. All right, Mike, I'll make you co-host. You got 2 accounts up. And then number 3, being able to educate. Being able to educate. There is not many people that I know that can do all 3. So guys, please start taking notes. It's Mike, guys. Y'all know how it is. So drop some 7s in the chat. Let's get some trading information in our head.
Yo, yo, yo. All right. What's good, everybody? How we feeling? How are we feeling after all that information? How are we feeling now that we have a better understanding of how to deliver the right information to people so they can tap in to the markets that we're going to be going over, right? So they can tap in to making anywhere from 5 to 10 to even sometimes 200% on accounts, right? Feels pretty good, no? All right, these sevens are nice. They're coming in hot. Okay, okay. All right, sick. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna walk everyone over some basic concepts. I'm gonna obviously start sharing the screen with you, but we gotta feel good, right? We gotta feel good. We've been going for an hour plus, so I want everyone to just fucking move around and start, getting fresh, right? Feeling good, guys. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Feel good now, exactly. So at this point, most of you should have gone through the sniper course. If you haven't gone through the sniper course, feel free to do that. Feel free to do that right now. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share this screen with you. All right, if you can see the screen, drop just 19 one time for me in the chat. Do I trade.com/2020 course. Beautiful. All right, amazing. Okay, so if you haven't seen this ever in your life, then you need to go ahead and do that ASAP. Jordan and I are working on doing a couple extra videos through Bounce Back. They're going to be more focused on US 30, small time frame price action. So super excited for that. For those of you who haven't hopped on this wave yet of trading US 30 like crazy, really going in and just leveraging the live trading sessions, walking through the setups with you together every single morning pretty much, you need to hop on. But before you can actually take live trades, real trades with confidence, go through the course so that you know what to do, you know how to do it. Trust me, this gives you so much understanding so that when you go to the live chart, then you're just, it's almost effortless. Everything starts to make sense and it's going to be super clear. You're going to feel amazing. Guys, when you see a trade, right, once you snipe a trade, you feel so empowered because it's like, oh my God, I did it. Like, this actually works. They actually know what they're talking about, right? This is not just a little bit of luck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some concepts for everybody. But before I do that, right, don't sleep. Exactly. Do not sleep. Before I do that, if you have seen some success in this market through the trade house, whether it's my sessions, Zachary or Jordan's, Mike Miles, Rock Coomer, Cindy Crespa, any success at all, drop a pew pew in the chat, please. Drop a pew pew in that chat. Okay. All right, I got to pull something up real quick. Let me see, there's a lot of pews in this chat right now. Guys, I want you to understand, in this group of 75, 100 people, there are people that have three figures in a day, 4 figures in a day, 5 figures in a day or a week, right? So we're at a very incredible point in this process for a lot of different people. So here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna start going over the charts. I'm gonna start going over like what you really need to know to succeed. So I'm gonna erase everything. And we're starting from scratch, okay? So first things first, and with liquidity, that's what we're gonna go over is liquidity. And I want you to understand why this is important. Now you can find liquidity in a lot of different time frames, every single time frame, but the higher the time frame, right? The higher the time frame, the higher there is an accumulation of buyers or sellers. So what do I mean by that? If I'm looking on the weekly, right? And on this weekly time frame, right, every one of these candles is 1 week. If on the weekly I see that I've trajected here once, twice, 3 times. If I've seen that every time on this major time frame, right? This is years worth of movement. It's just been rejecting the same exact price. Then what I know is this, that there are a ton, right? A ton of people selling at the same exact spot. And what that means is that there's a lot of stop losses, right? A shit ton of stop losses sitting right above the same areas. That's what that means for us, right? That means that everything here on up, right, all in this range, what's really happening is that their stop losses are all above this range. People that are selling, right? People are selling here, double top, triple top, selling the same spot. What they're really seeing is that above this area, that's where if everyone's in sells, you're going to get stopped out, right? So why is it important? Well, we have to think about, you always need to keep in mind 2 sides of the coin, right? The retail side, retail traders, which is, small money, which is most people, even some hedge funds, right? So you have small money. And then on the other side of the coin, that's smart money. That's you have large institutions, right? Banks. That's what you have right there. So you have to kind of look at the market from both perspectives, right? If for retail, they're thinking and they've been trading and they've been taught, oh, look, if it keeps bouncing off the same area, well, just get in the same area. Hits that level, just hit the red button right there, right? And so now what you need to understand is there's going to be stop losses above here. So that's why this is going to be a target. So when you see liquidity like you're seeing here, right? When you see liquidity like you're seeing here, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. What I want you to understand is instead of you getting in at liquidity, you should actually be getting out at liquidity. You should be getting out where you have these, what we like to call them equal highs, or for example, let's say we draw this here. This is like what we like to call equal lows right there. My bad. Here's what we like to call equal lows. So up here and down here, it's the same thing. Over here, there's retail sellers getting in, and over here, there's retail buyers getting at the same exact area again and again and again. So one thing that I want you to notice is the longer it keeps rejecting the same price, the more it's going to blow up. I want you to really, really think about that for a second.
Hey, Mike.
The longer, what's up?
I hate cutting you off during trading, but can you, for all the new people on here who maybe haven't gone through the trade house course, a lot of people ask this question like, well, a lot of the products are doing really well. Like they're, I see they're winning the ratio, but can you explain how, yes, the retail trading can work. They're going to catch the 15.
Hold on, man. Give me a second. I can't hear you at all. It's my computer. Give me a sec. My bad.
My bad. So I think something that, we've been doing this now for so long, the educators now have been doing this for so long. This is, you're
going to have to repeat that whole thing again for me.
Yeah, I'll go through it. We've been doing this for so long. We understand why this style is a top tier, why it's best, why trading institutionally is better. A lot of newer traders will say, well, okay, there's so many applications that are doing so well right now. They have high accuracy, or, there's so many other people who are posting their profits and they don't trade like we do. Why is it working for them? Can you go over really quickly how retail can work, but you're looking at the 10, 15, 20 pip profit points while we're looking at a much bigger picture and catching the whole entire thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have other products, you have, Gold Cup, you have whatever it is you're using, and they're maybe making money or they're consistent, people are seeing profits. What you really need to understand is this. What is your goal, right? Do you want to put yourself in position to understand why you're doing what you're doing? And you also need to understand that any method of trading, honestly, any method of trading will work. You can profit from any of them. Absolutely 100%. Right? 100% you can profit from any method of trading. But a lot of people have a hard time doing something if they don't know why. And also, we have to think about risk to reward ratios, right? Someone might be winning 90% of the time. Let's think about this for a second. Let's say you don't use a stop loss and you hold trades until they just come back to your entry, even if you're wrong. Because you go, you know what, eventually it's got to come back, right? So you could be winning 95% of the time because you just never take losses. But we just saw this happen. Look at this, right? If you didn't have a stop loss and you held a buy here, you would have just blown whatever amount you ever would have had. And that's what we just saw happen, honestly. There's this like AI company, and literally just thousands of accounts blown, millions of dollars lost because they just didn't want to hold the stop loss. And so what you have to really understand is that there's going to be different ways of trading. They might not be in alignment with the real, like understanding how the market really works, but it's not about being right in trading, right? It's about profiting. And you can profit if you understand, okay, you know what, I'm genuinely wrong 60% of the time, but my risk to reward ratios are 3-to-1. So what does that mean, right? What does that mean if your risk to ratio is 3-to-1? That means that you can take, let's say every trade you take, your potential loss is 2%, right? So let's say you take your first trade, you lose. Let's make this big. All right, first trade you lose. Second trade, you lose again. Third trade, you win. Now remember, you're 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. So now that you won 6%. And then you trade to 2 more trades, minus 2%, and then you win the next one. Cool. So you lost 3 trades, you won 2, so you were 2 for 5. That puts you at 40% win rate. And then now let's add up how we did, right? Minus 2%, minus 4%, plus 2%, 0, 6%. So at the end of this week, you just did 6%. Those are great odds. That's a great numbers. You do that every week for even a year, your whole life can change. Right? And so this is what happens. Like some of the tools that you can use, right? Some of the trading concepts that are out there, they make money because they're like, okay, you know what? We don't win all the time, but we still can win like this. Right? Cool. That's fine. That's great. But now I want you to understand something, right? Now you don't have to blindly do something. Okay, before I continue, does this make sense? Like, does this make you feel better about trading? Like, does this make you understand, like, yo, I don't even have to be that good at this. I just have to know that the numbers, the odds are literally in my favor if I follow one, consistent risk management, and at least 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. Does that make you feel good about it? Like, this should build so much confidence as a trader, right? Because you don't need to be the best in the world. You don't need to be right all the time. Trading's not about being right. Trading's about being disciplined, right? Trading's about being patient. It really is, and especially considering this, right? If you've been taking the US 30 trades that we've been calling out, your account should be looking ridiculous, right? And I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I'm going to jinx myself. But stay tuned in, stay plugged, guys. Just you need to plug yourselves in. And now, here's the important thing: these numbers are what are happening with maybe some of the better strategies, right? But what we do isn't a strategy. The trading with institutions, smart money concepts, it's not a strategy. It's just what actually happens in the market. You're learning the incentives, right? The motive that these banks have. That's what you're learning, right? You're literally, it's like you're crawling into the mind of banks. That's what you're pretty much doing, right? Now you don't have to, fight against them or battle the banks to make your money, look to out edge them. Not at all. You're just riding the waves that they're making, but you're just getting on before the wave even begins. And that's what's happening. That's why it's a smooth ride, because you're already up here. So that's what we're here to do. And trading becomes so much easier when you know why you're getting it. Instead of like, okay, well, it broke this thing, so it's got to bounce off of it and continue up. And then if you lose, you're like, well, I don't know why I lost. That's supposed to work. They're telling me that's supposed to work. So for us and the way we educate here, it's just so important for us to make sure you know why. And when you can take the setups like this with the risk to reward, etc., what you'll have is you're not going to have 3-to-1 risk reward ratios. You'll have trades, for example, I'll literally go over what we did this morning. Some of you might have taken this trade. Some of you weren't on and you played yourselves, but it's not on me. So let's look at this trade. Here it goes. In the morning, right? Every morning, same times, we take these trades. All right, we call that a sell. And I'm not going to explain to you why, but I'm just going to show you the risk to reward ratios. Right, we call that a sell right over here. Our stop loss is not that way. Even if you did it, you had your stop loss all the way over here. Here's the risk to reward ratios we have, because we knew what we were looking for. Okay. If you were to take a setup like this, right, you could have taken it at least to here. So what does that put you at? Over 6-to-1. Right, over 6-to-1. So that means if you took that 2% risk and you made this trade, you would have made 12% minimum. Minimum, right? And then if we take that to the compounding chart and you're doing 12% every week, your account's going crazy. Legit, like numbers that won't even make sense. And so that's what I need everyone to think about is don't worry about how much you're losing, because if you're losing, but those losses are actually experienced so that you can have more winning trades, that's okay, right? And if you're losing and you're like, oh man, okay, I would have broke even, but I didn't adjust my stop loss on that one. Okay, cool. Now I know how to do that, right? You start gaining more insight, right? Because living through something doesn't make that moment important unless there's insight, right? Something happening, especially in trading and investing, if you go through a trade, right, but you gain nothing of it, then you wasted your time and your money, right? So the idea is to set yourself up so you either win or you learn, right? So these are the setups that can change everything, guys. There's been moments where, sometimes like you're gonna have, a bad things happen in your life, right? Allegedly bad things happening. The universe is testing you, and what starts to happen is you go, man, I just lost 4 trades in a row. Dude, what is happening? Maybe it's impatience. Maybe it's you're just taking the wrong setups. You're getting greedy. Whatever it is, right? But you're like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. So you refocus, and what happens? Boom! You hit one of these trades because your risk was consistent. And you were 2% risk, 2% risk, 2%. And even if you lost all 4, then you smack one of these trades and you're back in profit again. Right? You could have 2 bad weeks, 3 bad weeks, and 1 good week puts you back up in profit or even back on schedule to your growth fund. It happens. It happens, and it's happened. Any good trader has gone through that moment. And I think that's a very defining moment for traders. Are you going to allow that moment to just kill your dream? Or is that going to honestly fuel you to continue to learn, to then put in the work, to then hit that 12% trade, 50% trade? All of us have been there. All of us. So that's one big thing, is just those risk to reward ratios. Going back to Tim's original question. And I actually don't have to get off at 9, but I do have to leave this place at 9. But let's go back to what we were talking about. with liquidity. Tim, did that answer your question, or did I completely miss what you were talking about?
No, yeah, that's perfect. It's just pretty much it's having that good level of understanding, especially for new traders when there's there's so much noise going on in the industry and especially in the trading industry of this all the strategies that go, it's the best. Paying attention to how the market's really moving.
And this is a big resource because if someone that already trades is like, well, what makes you different than everybody else? They're like, all right, cool, let's hop on a chart. Like, it's that simple. Like, you're gonna blow their minds with what you know and what their idea of what they know is just, you know what I mean? So trading long, like, that's a whole entire other group of people that you could be saving. I was saying something earlier about if you go to forexfactory.com, all you're gonna find is retail traders. Right? Look at this. Have a good laugh. Go to forexfactory.com. People are going to be asking about indicators, trading system. Oh, look, trading made simple. Right? You're gonna look at all these things. Let's look at anything. Let's look at this 3-bar fractal break. Oh no. Right, actually, I'm surprised there's actually no indicators. Usually, you see indicators immediately on the screen. Right? So here they're just doing, look, any indicator for this. So right, it looks like, okay, guys, if it goes up 2 times and it goes down once, then you have a pattern. Why though? Right? There's no reason behind any of that. Yeah, so you can just dive in here.
His name was Chicago Rob.
What's up, Tim?
His name was Chicago Rob. You need to hit him up.
Yeah, you know what? I will. So, or anybody else here has initiative, go ahead. Right. And even then, if you look at this, people are like, oh, okay, well, actually, when we were live for the market mashing for Christopher Terry, there was on the news section here, right? Usually, I forgot what it is. It tells you whatever headlines, whatever going on. And it was saying like the Dow has to bounce back. History shows us. And it was hilarious because it was kind of like promoting bounce back for us. But also, it's like that happened Sunday, right? And then what has happened so far? Absolute drop. So observe the masses do the opposite, right? So once you guys really get this, you're gonna have like so much more confidence too when you speak. You're gonna have that posture that we talked about because it's just so lit. But yeah, tell them no, don't go into big pips. So anyways, liquidity, right, is where a lot of the retail are getting in. And it's almost like, remember, everything that moves is set up, right? Every single movement up and down is set up. So this is setting up the market to entice people who enjoy the easy way out, right? Which is most people. This is enticing people who have gone through the baby pips, who've gone through the free YouTube videos, and they're getting in at the same price, right? Because everybody in the world is taught resistance. Everybody in the world is taught support. Everybody in the world is taught trend lines. Everyone gets introduced to some sort of indicators if you're going through, right, the masses education. So now that you realize that's what liquidity is, right? This is just more retail sellers, more retail sellers, more retail sellers, more retail sellers. And finally, it pops, taking everybody out. You see that happen, right? Time frame after time frame after time frame after time frame. Where you're going to see it repeat itself again and again and again, and as you go through the different time frames. So even here, right? You see how the market comes to the same area again? Draw this out. Okay. When the market goes back to here, what do you think most people want to do? Look, it stalls here for a second. Most people are saying, hey, look, it's here again. Let's hit that blue button. and then it dips again and takes all of them out. It engulfs to the upside, and then people are probably like, all right, go ahead, now it's finally going to go up, right? And then it just keeps going. So that's what liquidity looks like for us. And the same thing happens if you draw, like, for example, trend lines. So I think we saw it over here. Let's say we draw this here. People, you go here. And people are looking, they're going to rationalize. They go, hey, look, here's the trend line. Oh, look, it broke. Oh, my bad. I just drew it wrong. My bad. And they draw it here. And then it worked. You go, oh, yeah, see, this is perfect. And then now you're rationalizing, and then you extend it. This is what I'm saying. It's just taught. And then people are waiting. Oh, okay, look, it's got to work here. And then it doesn't. They're like, oh, well, I just drew it wrong over here. And then people just keep adjusting. So people just rationalize why things aren't working. So that's kind of liquidity. Is the same thing. Even like that way, even with trend lines, like people are going to be racking up orders there. Look, same thing happens here. Okay, look, support, bounces off again. Oh, look, it's got to go up, and then it doesn't. And then it keeps going, and you go, oh, well, it was a fake out or something. And then everyone gets clapped. So that's kind of what liquidity means. And guys, if you have questions, ask the questions for sure. Question, just to be clear, we're getting out at liquidity swaps for both equal highs and equal lows. So if you are in a trade, right? Let's say you saw that this was going to drop, right? And this is a huge trade, but let's say you did. You're selling it, right? You could take your profits at the equal lows or at the equal highs. So yeah, you can use those as places for profit. And the reason you can do that, right? The reason you could be looking at these areas to profit is because you know the banks are going to target these areas, right? Before this drop happens, the banks would want to push the market down to here to do one of two things. Either it pushes it down here, then it bounces to collect it, to introduce more retail buyers, or it comes at least to here, pushes beneath to clear out these buyers and take out their stop losses. So the reason you don't take profit below it, even though it at some point will go below it, is because you don't know if this drop is going to only drop to here to accumulate, to incentivize more retail buyers, and then bounce again, and then drop, and then clear the lows. So that's why these equal lows are a great place for us to target, because the market wants to come at least to this price, right? To either incentivize retail buyers or to actually break through it and then eliminate all of those. Is that making sense for people who are a little bit newer to trading, to this kind of trading? So liquidity, equal lows, equal highs. We use that to target our profits. And then when you see those equal lows, this is your warning also, right? Hey, don't get in any trades. Stay out of these trades. Wait for the market to eliminate, right? What we like calling sweep the lows. Wait for the market to sweep this, to clean house here. And then what we might see is it might drop down temporarily and then push up again. And then we might be seeing institutional movement, imbalance, et cetera, et cetera. So does anyone, or what questions do we have regarding just liquidity? I want to make sure this is simple and understood. It's okay to have questions, because this is why we're having this call. Or if you want to just clarify anything or rhetorical questions, whatever. All right. So in the meantime, I'm going to go to a small time frame. Don't really worry about the time frame. We're going to just be looking at the structure of the market for right now, because I want to highlight, and I know for a fact that we have an example. All right, cool. So let's talk about how the market moved this morning. Okay. So if we're looking at the way the market moved, so what we were looking at this morning was this, and this is a key example of how to identify liquidity, how to identify institutional candles, how to identify a lot of different things, right? So this is going to be an example, and definitely pay attention to this, and then just do this and practice this over and over and over again. So first, and if you have multiple screens, draw this out as I'm showing, right? So first, what I want you guys to do is draw out the liquidity. So over here, can someone tell me, right? Can someone show me where we have liquidity? Like what price over here are we starting to see liquidity? Cool, nice. You can go ahead and delete that. So right around here. How do we know that? Remember, what happens here is you have equal highs, projecting the same price again and again and again. So incentivizing, motivating people to get in for sales. And I want you to think about this, because remember, every single candlestick, even the 1 minute ones, have purpose. Look at what happens here. If a retail trader would see this, all right, let's project it here. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Amazing. Let's get in on this. And then it even engulfs, and it's like, oh baby, it engulfed. Let's hit that sell button. All right, let's hit that sell button. And so what do? If you're a retailer, you have to consider the way most people think. So you go, okay, if most people are looking at this and then they're taught to just trade off the resistance, and then if it engulfs, then you're definitely in. Look at what the banks do. They incentivize you to get in, and then it's followed by breaking those highs. Right, clears those highs right away. And then the market turns around. How many equal highs / lows do you usually look for when looking for liquidity? So it really depends, and we'll go into that a little bit more tomorrow on just different time frames. But we'll focus on this for today, right? So now that we've seen liquidity here, now what I want you guys to think about and conceptualize is institutional movement, okay? Institutional movement. So what is institutional movement? Now, people sometimes are looking for candles specifically, but personally, I look for the movement, where it begins and where it ends. So if all of this is just racking up cells and more cells and more cells, this right here, this 2 minute push, right? 1 minute, 2 minute. This move right here, where it begins is where you start to see like momentum start, right? So you see these larger candles push through. So we'll highlight this right there. We'll highlight this push here. This push right there. That's what we call institutional movement. Why? Right? Because right here is you can see a lot more money comes in. Price shoots from 24,650 to 24,790. In just 2 minutes, market blasts up 140 points. Okay, that's a lot of money. And when it, not only are you looking for, okay, well, it didn't move a lot, but what was the purpose of that movement? This movement, what it did was knock out all of these retail sellers, right? Anybody over here, right? All over here, they just got taken out. So that's what we would consider that institutional movement. It's just eliminating, it's taking out other sellers, right? And so to really confirm that you have that institutional push, what follows the institutional movement is an imbalance, right? And what you'll notice and what you're going to see is that following a movement like that, the market's just going to go the opposite way and it's going to trend for quite a bit. And what do you notice? It pushes up and then immediately goes in the direction where most people were looking to take the trade anyways, right? So when you have the market just melt away like this, right? An imbalance is followed by this institutional movement. And also, it happens without a real pullback, right? It does something like this. This is what it's supposed to do, the market's supposed to do. But clearly, we don't see that happen. Here, the market just melts. So, you know it's an institutional movement when it clears liquidity and then it's followed by this imbalance. If you see a big push, but you don't really see it take anyone out, right? You're not seeing the bank's profit in any way, then it's really not an institutional movement. For example, this big movement here, this isn't an institutional movement, or at least it's not useful, beneficial to us right here, right? But knowing this is important because remember, what this means, right? What this movement means is that the banks are literally buying to drive the price up, and this is where they begin. This is where they enter the market. They buy to drive the price up, followed by the imbalance. But this is the equivalent, right over here, is the equivalent of, an MT4 with hundreds of thousands of lots put into that buy right there. And so when the market's over here, like we see now, this entry is in drawdown. This entry is in drawdown. So that's where the market has to come up and then come and close out, come in this range because they need to close their buy. All right, cool. So thank you, Vicky. So yeah, with that being said, guys, unfortunately, I have to get going. Get us out of here. So, but I hope that makes sense. We went over liquidity. We went over kind of the institutional movement. Tomorrow, we're going to go deeper into this. We're going to go over some setups. I'm going to talk to you about how to manage going from higher time frames to lower time frames. How to actually know when to get in, how to know when to get out, which I think is really crucial. How to know when to get out. And then we're going to be going over not just US 30. We're going to cover different things. How to use other things in confluence with this. So we're going to be going over a lot of things. But
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
For tomorrow, we have obviously I'm going to jump on here and talk about the rest of the week since you have to jump off here. But tomorrow we have the op call at 7 p.m. Central Time. So you got what you just learned today, literally looking at your list, inviting invite for that 7 p.m. call. We're going to jump on there and sauce it up. And at 9 p.m., we have the Next Wave mentorship. We don't have planned the trading session. When do you want to do that? You want to do the extra trading session? Because I know we're doing massive top-down analysis training on Thursday.
Can you repeat the last part? Sorry, I was cut out.
What time do you want to do that tomorrow? Because Wednesday was mainly focused on Next Wave mentorship.
What's your schedule look like tomorrow?
We'll chat. We'll announce it. Cool.
All right, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, family. We're adding an extra trading session just because we only had a small amount of time today. So, yeah, guys, that is phase 3. I'm super excited. I know tomorrow, like I said, we have the 7 o'clock opportunity call, solution call, whatever you want to call it. I know I will be inviting for that call. Use what you've learned. At 9 p.m., we have the Next Wave mentorship. We're going to be talking about compounding your account and compounding your business. Super excited, guys. A lot of leaders, a lot of chairmen are already sharing that call. Make sure you get everyone on that. That is going to be a high intensity. I'm not going to swear, but I'm going to be very high intensity on that call. So it's going to be super exciting. It's really going to make some noise for the organization. And then moving into Thursday, we're going to be going over a review, feel, felt, found, building your pipeline, closing, and then I'm sure Mike will be going off for 2 hours on advanced top-down analysis. So, guys, give me a couple of minutes to get this uploaded. I appreciate every single one of you. If you received value from this call, please go into the Telegram, create some massive amounts of FOMO. I am so excited for March. I am so excited for the next 6 months. I am so excited for this decade. Remember, if you have questions, if you have something more personal, please reach out. Please reach out. I hate just talking to the screen. Let me help you in your specific situation, and we will make amazing things happen together. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. How many days? 3 days till New York. We're going to be rolling deep. Can't wait to see each and every single one of you. Let's run it up.